It's time to hear from the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong, on your exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
You're going old school, aren't you, buddy?
I honestly think that's the first time I made that mistake this year. Utah Mammoth, not Utah Hockey Club. Bill Armstrong, kind enough to join us. Bill, how you doing?
Hey, Bill.
I'm doing great. What's going on, gentlemen?
We're just enjoying life, watching Logan Cooley score goal after goal after goal. That was, you see 3 every now and then. You don't see 4 very often.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, he does a lot of the right things off the ice. He's always trying to get better, improve, working on his scoring all the time. And, it's one of those things you keep knocking on the door. Eventually you're going to get an opportunity to score like that. And he did. He took advantage of it. And not only that, he made a heck of a play to Gunther on Gunther's goal, too. So he had a great night for us. And good to see him get rewarded. He's an unreal human being and someone that kind of drives our team every night.
Just feels exactly what the doctor ordered here, Bill, with back-to-back wins, back-to-back home wins against New York and Vegas, avenging that first loss to Vegas in that first game back at home. And Lloyd and I were going back and forth just before that New York game, and we're like, geez, where's that offense, man? Where's that crazy offensive attack? And you get it in New York, and then you get it against Vegas. But 5 scores. Just talk about the offense, how they've come around from that 4-game losing streak to now put 2 wins on the board.
Well, I think for our team, we kind of, had success, and I think we got away from what made us have that success. And we're probably one of the fastest teams in the National Hockey League. And we take that puck and we go one way and we go north, and we get away from the fancy drop passes and the cute little plays and just put pucks and people at the net and use our speed. We create offense all day long. And we got to get back to that on a consistent basis. When we do that, we're going to be a winning hockey club because we've got a ton of talent, we've got a ton of speed, and we've got to use that. When we start playing slow and fancy, it doesn't work for us. So I think there's a little bit of a learning curve with our group and allowing us to kind of have success when we play the right way.
How it's always fun to get a win in the NHL, but to do so in convincing fashion against the Golden Knights, does that mean a little something extra?
Oh, 100%. I think it's a big thing for us with that ability to beat some of the bigger and better teams in the league. And the Golden Knights have been a great franchise from the moment they've come in. Whenever you get a chance to beat them, it's certainly rewarding, and it gives you a little confidence as an organization that you can play against the big boys.
One thing that Scotty and I continue to try to educate the listeners on hockey, and we continue to try to educate ourselves, but there's something in hockey called the penalty kill. And for people out there, when you got the penalty, you put a certain group on the ice. That group defends against the goal with a man down. And right now, the Utah Mammoth have the best penalty kill going back to mid-October. What's that unit doing? What's making it really work for them?
Well, there's a lot of little details that go in, but one is clearing the puck. When you get a chance to get your hands on it, it's getting it out, and that we do a great job with that. It's winning the face-off and making clears, but it's also positioning and great goaltending. When a couple of years ago, when we were coming out of the rebuild, we wanted to put some time in to see if we could, put as much emphasis on the PK as we did the power play. And we came up with Kevin Stenlin was the man that was a great penalty killer. And so when we brought him into our organization, it changed everything. I mean, he takes great pride in that. He's out killing about 90% of the penalties that we take, and he's just a warrior out there. And he's playing with a broken nose right now and didn't miss a beat with it. So he's been unbelievable, and I think he kind of inspires our group. And I know John Madden, our coach, does a wonderful job too. He was a big time killer in his day, and he's really did a nice job in getting the group to buy in and believe that we can get it done every single time we're killing.
So much of it seems like a goaltender's life is about momentum. And when you have a tender that struggles in the early part of a game, like Veggie did in New York against the Rangers, and then finishes really strong, how rare is it to see a guy right the ship in the middle of a game?
Well, I think that's experience, and not letting one mistake lead to another. And he came back with an incredible performance against Las Vegas. That was, and you need that. If you're going to win, you got to have your goaltenders make those crucial saves. And he's been a big part of our success. Everybody goes through their dips, being average at times. But when he's truly, at his best, we're winning hockey games, and he's a huge part of our team.
I've missed Sean Dursey, and I know that he's getting really, really close to return, but I think he's a fan favorite. He's one of my favorites. Nasty, plays with a chip on his shoulder. What's his expected return at this point?
Well, it looks like at this point he's going to come back and play tonight, so I think it's going to be an exciting moment for our group, give us a little momentum, getting him back in the lineup. He's truly a warrior. He's truly somebody that kind of drives our team. I think the guys are going to be pretty excited that he's coming back to play tonight. He's a big part of the team. He's kind of like our engine behind the scenes. He's always going and trying to push the group, so it'll be a special night to have him back in the lineup.
So the late great Jerry Sloan, when he was coaching the Jazz, every year you could set your watch to it because the Jazz would always petition to have a bunch of games on the road in Christmas because he wanted his guys away from their family before Christmas. He didn't want them worrying about shopping or any of the other stuff. You got a lot of family men. You got a lot of kids. Do you ever think like that? Like, you know what? This might not be a bad time to take our guys on the road. Are those ever conversations you have between you and the rest of the guys in the front office in the league?
No. But I would just say there are no holidays in hockey. How's that sound?
There you go.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
When the season's on, 4th of July, we all relish in the 4th of July because there's no hockey. But when hockey season's on, it comes or goes, whether you get days to celebrate, holidays. So you're just kind of used to it and you kind of make the most of it. But really, I mean, we're used to it as hockey players. We've been playing it our whole life. And, it's just everybody knows sometimes you get the holidays, sometimes you don't, and you're trying to make the most of it. And our guys are pretty good with it. But, we're kind of a family-oriented group. So, we don't mind the families around, and we don't mind family time for the players.
Love getting these Canadian teams down here into the Delta Center, get them down to Utah, put them in front of this fan base. It should be a lot of fun. It's a very good Montreal team. Talk about them. Talk about kind of what your expectations are for your team in this closeout for your homestand.
Well, they're a good team. They're young like us. They're built like us. It's going to be a battle. They can put up the offense. They can fly too. For us, it's just, can we outperform them in some areas like goaltending or power play or PK? It's going to come down. It's going to be a close game. They're an extremely good team. It's going to be a battle for us. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to play those guys. Everybody knows that the Canadians are a little dirty. They cheat once in a while too. So I'd like to see the good guys win tonight. The good guys getting rewarded tonight.
So are you talking about the Montreal Canadiens or just Canadians in general?
Well, my dad did say when I was playing hockey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah,
so he did. So maybe there's a little kid, but the Montreal Canadiens, everybody knows that
I got you.
They might cheat a little bit, yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Like we've talked about this a lot, the physicality and how difficult it is what you ask these guys to do. But to play a road trip and go on a road trip and you play 6 games in 10 days, crisscrossing all over the country, that's a lot to ask of these guys, man.
It is. I mean, and this part of the season is a really, really hard. It's a hard part for everybody, because it's just the Olympics, and you're so jammed up and you're just flying. You're playing, every other day. The whole league is just it's an up and down league because of the travel, because of the strain, and you can watch it. Teams win 5 in a row and then they lose 5 in a row. So it's a hard league right now with the amount of games that we're playing back and forth. But I believe the Canadians are going to be hungry for us. We're in a similar, kind of build where we're at, and I think we're looking forward to playing each other. 2 good young teams going at it.
So, Bill, as you know, I'm a color analyst for BYU football, so I get to go with the team. I get to call the games and analyze the finer points of the game, and I love breaking down the finer aspects of it, trying to bring people that maybe didn't play it into the game a little bit. Yeah. Take me into a certain aspect of this game Just take me into the face-off. Talk about some of the finer details of standing face-to-face, knowing that you've got to get control of this puck, and what goes into that moment.
Well, it is a really important part of you control the play. You can kind of control the game, and there's certain impact face-offs. When you're on a power play, for example, it's a must-win. If you don't, it's 30 seconds off your power play. So you got to really dig in. But it's not only the guy that's taking the face-off. It's the winger to the left or right of you, or if you're in the defensive zone, it could be a defenseman on the line. But anything inside the circle that lies there, we call it a dirty puck. If that dirty puck's lying there, you got to find a way to win it and push it back and get control of it. But it's not just the center that's taking the draw. It's also, the D-man and the wingers also jumping in on loose pucks to win the battles. And that's a big component of it. But if you get a really good centerman, he can time it right and maybe he cheats a little bit off the draw. He finds ways just to win draws, but they're huge. We've struggled at times with it. We've been great with it at times. I feel like sometimes as an older guy in the National Hockey League, they might let you cheat a little bit more off the draw. Unfortunately, we got all young guys, so they hold us to a high standard.
If you had to win one face-off right now with a guy on this roster, Is it Keller?
No. Stenlund's our best guy. He's a rock star draws, and he kind of runs the table. When he's on, there's not many people in the league that can beat him.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Although, as you mentioned, there's really no holidays in the NHL. But if you can sneak in a good turkey meal somewhere, enjoy it. And we look forward to catching up with you again.
Find a way, Bill.
Find a way. Thank you very much for having me on, and really, really appreciate it. And happy Thanksgiving, boys.